Hi, my name is Brooke Nielsen. I am an occupational therapist and recently became a certified hand therapist. I've been an OT for 16 years, and I always knew that I wanted to study for the CHT and sit for that, but just always felt like I never had enough time. I've got a husband of 16 years and I have 3 kids, age 14, 12, and 6. And then I'm also a full-time dance coach at a local high school in addition to working full-time. So I just always felt like it wasn't the right time. In the summer of 2022, my oldest daughter was 11 at the time, and she had a freak accident. She was changing in her room and she fell, and her piggy bank was on the floor, and she reached out her hand to catch her fall, and her hand instead landed on the piggy bank and it shattered, and she ended up with a zone 2 flexor tendon injury. So we had a lot of doctoring with a hand surgeon down in Omaha, and he really wanted her to see a CHT, and guess what? There isn't one in our area. So if we were going to see a CHT, the closest we had was a little over an hour away from us. So that prompted me to go for it. So like I said, I work full time. I also coach at the high school level, and then I do a lot of volunteer coaching for my kids' activities. So I felt like I didn't have the time, but I made the time. I never had like a solid hour or two to sit down and study. I did it in the pockets of time. So I used the Purple Book. I used the MedBridge CHT prep program, and I also used the CHT Hand Therapy Academy CHT program. I loved that because their videos are shorter segments. So I could maybe watch a video while I'm waiting in the car for my kids to get done with sports, or I could do that on the drive or in between games if they had games on a Saturday. They also had the flashcards. So I set up my team's solo competition and I did hours and hours of flashcards in between their dances. A lot of get up 15 minutes earlier, and then I had 15 minutes to study. I would study on my lunch break. So I never had like a big chunk of time to sit down, maybe on the weekends, but those times all add up. So I just always carried the flashcards with me, or I had the Hand Therapy Academy and MedBridge apps on my phone, and I utilized those to study in the pockets where I could. And the other thing that I kept telling myself as I was studying, because it does get overwhelming at times, is that I kept saying, no matter what, I'm going to pass this exam. If I don't pass it on the first time, I will pass it on the second time. But every single thing I was doing was making me a better clinician and making my patient outcomes better. So it's worth it in the end.